49. The last president inaugurated in the United States. The span of terrible days after the global comms blackout when the world was reshaped. The number of strange supernatural phenomena that appear around the globe. You're listening to The 49, the new series by Andrew Kooman. Get the content right in your inbox when you subscribe at the49.substack.com. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to the world of The 49.
Whoa, Diez said. Easy. He stepped back toward the boat, and when he moved, the bear roared. Easy, he coaxed, hands up in the universal symbol of don't kill me. The bear stood up on its hind legs and roared louder. I'm a friend, Diez said, and took another step back. The bear dropped and took 3 quick steps toward him and swiped. It was about 10 feet away from him now, and its paw came close to hitting him. It was a massive beast. Diez was about 10 feet from the boat. A few more steps, and another swipe like that, and he was a dead man. Easy, Diez whispered, as he started to pray under his breath. As he did, a scene from a film he saw in his former life, as a journalist, flashed through his mind, the famous bear attack in the Revenant. A fur trader roamed the woods of the untouched American frontier and was mauled by a grizzly. It was almost impossible to endure as an audience member. What he'd do to pay to be in the theater again and watch the fictional carnage unfold, rather than face the limb-tearing threat. Diez slowly lowered his arms, his palms facing the ground. He quietly talked to the bear, his voice a whisper. Kiani yuda et hatochniot shli beshvilhem, namha, tochniot, lehitzalha, vele, lera, tochniot, lehem, tikva, ve'atid. The words came from the back of his throat, but deeper than that, from his guts. Words he'd learned from an AI translator and committed to memory for one of his homilies. They bubbled up now. For I know the plans that I have for you. The famous words emblazoned on t-shirts and graduation cards all over the world, handed out at bar mitzvahs and christenings. A hinge verse from scripture, embraced by both branches of Abraham's olive tree. The words gave him courage, though his legs were weak. He could feel the hot breath of the bear as it chuffed in front of him. He looked in the beast's eyes. The animal's left pupil was glazed with a white cloud, a cataract that made it turn its head slightly, head bobbing, so it could assess the strange creature it encountered on the shore. Diez took a slow step back, then another. His feet were in the water now. The bear took a step back too. When he did, Diez jumped in the boat. It was a near fatal move. The bear reared up on its hind legs, then roared. As it dropped to its feet, it powered off its hind legs and charged right at the boat, swiping its enormous paw toward him. Diez was just out of reach, but the bear's right claws landed a blow against the bow. The boat heaved and nearly flipped. Diez lunged toward the motor to gain more distance, and the bear swiped again. The boat rocked, and Diez lost his balance. He grabbed a paddle and swung it around his head and toward the bear. In a desperate act of defense, the paddle grazed the animal's snout. The beast started, silenced by the surprise of the alien weaponry. Then it roared again, and with both front claws, grabbed the bow of the boat and rocked it. Diez stepped forward with a joust and landed another blow on the soft black snout. But when he landed, his foot caught in a mesh pocket that held the first aid kit and an extra life jacket that was between the seat and the curved, fiberglass exterior of the boat. His ankle twisted in pain. The bear tipped the boat again, and as the boat turned over, Diez's body went overboard with it. Suddenly, he was underwater. His legs stuck. The bear continued to attack the boat.
He blinked awake. First, there was nothing. Then suddenly, he was just there. His body wasn't warm or cold. It had no feeling at all, not at first. From the darkness, suddenly, light. It wasn't bright or painful, but it overwhelmed his senses. A dome of white stretched above him, and it took a moment for him to realize his eyes were open and there was nothing above his field of vision. He pressed his hands against the ground. It also was neither warm nor cold. As his fingers pressed against the surface, he confirmed he had a body. Hands, he thought. He moved them along the ground. It was smooth. Concrete. His hand touched his leg. It was bare. He moved his hands along the front of his leg. Cloth at the thighs to the waist. An elastic waistband. No cloth above it. Torso. Chest. His arms were bare too. One moment he was asleep, the next he was awake. He had no memories of what came before. He had no expectation for what would come next. It was perhaps the quietest, most comforting moment of his life. The faint taste of metal was in his mouth, and his tongue was numb. He had the faintest recollection of a dream as he blinked at the lights. He didn't want to move, so he didn't. He counted 100 heartbeats, then he sat up. He was hit by a wave of nausea so pronounced he had to lay back down. He turned instinctively onto his side and curled his knees into his chest. It felt like a marching band walked through his chest, stomped from his throat, through the chambers of his heart, and kicked a hole through his kidneys to escape. There was pain all over his body. He opened his eyes when the wave had surged and the marching band left him behind, his heart echoing their timbre. He started when he saw a foot near his face. A woman wearing a headset in a small room, filled with monitors and other electronic devices, smiled. "First contact," she said flatly, into the microphone set an inch away from her lips. A smudge of red lipstick dappled the black fabric that was stretched over the mic. A wall of monitors showed 10 different angles of the same scene that the woman and the other members in the control room watched intently. The young man in the white brief slowly rolled over and sat cross-legged. He looked at the other body laying on the ground nearby. He touched the foot, checked for a signal of life. He sat back calmly when he confirmed that the other person was alive. They looked eerily alike, mirror images of each other. The only difference seemed to be the peach fuzz on the chin of the one and the black briefs that he wore instead of white. "Go to camera 2, the woman said as she watched the moment unfold. "Yes, punch in on White's face. Extreme close-up. Ready the intro." The monitor in front of her matched her verbal directions. "Ready camera 4. I need an overhead shot of Black. Same close-up, punch right in on his eyes too. I want the moment he wakes to fill the view." The monitor now showed a close-up on the face of the young man in black boxer shorts. "Let's go to a side-by-side. Right now. Go, go, go." He's waking. Now the monitor showed a split screen of both faces. One man's eyes open, the other's closed, but the same face. There was a potent moment of silence as all eyes in the editing room waited for the shot. It was clearly masterful, pregnant with suspense. Then the sleeping boy in the black briefs awoke. His eyes slowly rolled open, and his pupils went from the size of planets to pinholes as they adjusted to the light. The gold flecks in his hazel irises caught the light, seemed to sparkle. 2 sets of eyes belonging to 2 contestants of the game filled the screen, one on the top third, the other on the lower third of the screen, with the iconic logo of the famous game show in its minimalist and terrible simplicity filling the space between. "Roll intro," the woman urged. The screen faded, then the room was overtaken with the sound of the familiar jingle that opened the eponymous show. A round of cheers erupted around the room as the woman dropped her headset to her shoulders for a moment and grabbed the Diet Coke on the flat panel in front of her. "That would have won Emmys," a man at a control panel said, never taking his eyes off the screen. The woman put the beverage down and returned the headset to its proper place. "Let's go to a wide shot. Fade in slow." The monitor obeyed. As the music faded from the opening credits to a wide shot of the room, it revealed the 2 young men, bodies taut with muscle, thin as wild hares, sitting cross-legged, looking at one another. One in black underwear, the other in white. The young man in white slowly turned his head to crack his neck, then slowly rolled his shoulders back. The one in black yawned. "Slide to him. The one in black," the woman said, moving her head as the tracking shot slowly rolled toward him. The depth of field suddenly changed through the clever maneuver of the camera, so that the foreground seemed to push into the background in one seamless motion. "Beautiful," she said. "Close it out. I just want his shoulders at the bottom of the frame. He's gonna speak." The camera rested. The live feed was sizzling. The crew knew that tens of thousands of eyeballs were glued to this moment. The appetite for these two contestants in particular was insatiable already, and the way it was unfolding was seamless, as if it had been scripted. The face on the screen morphed from the stoic frown of a teen on the verge of manhood to an irresistible aw-shucks grin. "There it is," the woman said, as if on cue. Joyride said the first words as a contestant. "Nice briefs." The grin grew into a smile, the edge of his top teeth visible. The camera captured him eye his brother up and down, punctuated with a winsome eyebrow raise. The woman in the control room clutched her collar with her right hand and laughed. "Well, well," she said, "a star is born."
Thanks for listening to this portion of The 49 by Andrew Kooman. New content drops for paid subscribers every Monday at the49.substack.com. That's the49.substack.com. On Tuesdays, we release new audio on all your favorite podcast platforms. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe and to share it with a friend. Thanks for listening to The 49.